In other words, judgment.
My Hero Academia Vigilantes episode 5 is out, titled Judgment. Of course, we're going to be breaking down the episode as well as the entire season each week, so be sure to Detroit smash that like button and subscribe to the Kidoroki channel so that you don't miss any My Hero Academia Vigilantes content. Now, right off the bat, the episode doesn't feature the adaptation of the two special chapters called Hero Conference and Hero Visit. These chapters take place around the same time as episode 4, where we see how the pro heroes and the police are dealing with all that's been going on with the outbreak of the instant villains. It really does suck that they aren't included in the anime, because in those chapters we get to see All Might's agency for the first time in the series, and it showed us the beginnings of Aizawa being suggested by Midnight to become a teacher at UA. But I do feel like these two special chapters are eventually going to be adapted at some point, so we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, and the anime does skip over adapting chapter 7.5, where Koichi takes a villainous looking hero to Tensei's agency. Now, the episode begins with the anime adapting Koichi's night out with his college friends, and the rumors being spread around his college on how he tried to lure one of the girls in his group into an abandoned building when he was just trying to take his drunken group back to his house so they can all relax. After the opening, we get an anime-only scene of a news report from MHA News following up on a string of jewelry store murder incidents that began 2 months ago. The suspect of the crime is confirmed to be Iyaro Tenba, and the heroes are now officially searching for him. As the report goes on, we see in a nearby alley, Tenba is on the ground dead as the vigilante known as Stendhal stands over his lifeless body. Back to the present, months later, Pop comes into Koichi's house grabbing some pudding and asking Koichi what he's up to. Koichi is mending his hoodie, and Pop wonders why he doesn't just wear something sturdier. He tells her it's officially licensed All Might merchandise, and just wearing it fills him up with courage. Koichi stares at her, saying that he was actually going to eat the pudding, and Pop starts blushing, and she ends up calling the hoodie lame and cheap since he has to mend it all the time, and Koichi gets extremely upset since she is straight up trashing the GOAT, All Might. He tells her that the hoodies aren't cheap and the merchandise is marketed to the ultimate fans, as we see the All Might hoodies in different color schemes matching different eras of All Might's costumes. They put out a new special edition each year, and he's only missing one from 5 years ago, the Silver Age edition with the established color scheme. Koichi tells Pop that when he was in middle school, he was very serious about becoming a pro hero. He signed up for the entrance exam to get into a hero course at a high school in Tokyo. Of course, knowing Koichi's love for All Might, he most likely was trying to enter UA at the time. On the morning of the exam, he was running late and a kid happened to be drowning nearby. He quickly jumped in the water to save who he thought was a little boy, and he gave his All Might hoodie to keep the kid warm. And Koichi quickly went off to his exam, but he arrived late and wasn't able to take the test. When he thinks about it, he just hopes that his heroic moment was able to inspire the boy to become a hero. Pop ends up being upset at Koichi for messing up his potential life as a hero to save someone, and she leaves his house. It turns out that that nameless boy Koichi saved was actually her. She was practicing using her leap quirk, and when trying to cross the river, she slipped and fell into the river. Ever since that day, she had been intrigued by Koichi. Here, the anime doesn't adapt the little bubble of Pop Step, seeing Koichi as nice guy before she had ran into him on the day of her street performance. Pop works up the courage to go back to Koichi's house with some pudding and the hoodie that he had given her, and she thinks about how she's going to apologize for what happened back then. Unfortunately, when she arrives at Koichi's house, Knuckle Duster is also there, and she loses all of her confidence. At her house, she wears the hoodie to be filled with courage like Koichi, and she even comes up with some song lyrics about the hoodie itself and what Koichi had said about wearing the hoodie, filling him up with courage. In an anime only scene, we see Akira, the rock villain from from episode 2, is released by the police and he runs into Hachisuka, who offers him a new batch of trigger. While on patrol, Pop and Koichi run into the rock villain, and we learn that the reason why he isn't in some sort of special jail for holding villains is because their names don't get recorded down as being an official villain without having multiple quirk related offenses. The rock villain remembers Koichi's hero name and Koichi gets excited by it. Pop notes that Knuckle isn't on patrol with them today due to him handling some personal business, and the anime here does change this moment slightly, as in the manga, Pop does call Knuckle to see what he thinks of the situation, and he tells her that Koichi doesn't stand a chance and to just buy time and call it in to the police. For the anime, they cut the call out and Koichi is the one who thinks of buying time and for her to call the police. After this, we see Koichi do the iconic Akira motorcycle slide, referencing the Akira movie, while fighting a villain whose name is Akira. And Koichi notices that the villain has gotten faster and stronger since their last run-in. At a restaurant, we see Hachisuka is able to spectate the fight thanks to her B being at the scene, and she takes notes on the trigger she gave Akira, the rock villain, called TRD2C, a dopamine cocktail boosting his abilities, confirming that the dose she gave Akira has upped his aggression while providing significant strengthening to his quirk, which enhanced his speed while still maintaining his hardening. Back to Koichi, just as he's about to be cornered by the villain, a mysterious vigilante comes in, saving him, and pushes back the villain with his katana. Before the vigilante is able to throw his knives at the villain, the police can be heard and the villain runs away. Koichi thanks the vigilante, asking who he is, and the vigilante reveals himself to be Stendhal, and he makes his exit before the police arrive. Koichi excitedly talks about Stendhal the next time he sees Knuckle. Ichimoku sends a text to Pop about information on some local guy that they know who wants to meet them. When they talk about the local guy, we get a funny reference and Easter egg of the local being depicted as the Hokage from Naruto. Knuckle tries to warn Koichi about Stendhal and the local guy, telling him that those who use justice as an excuse to pick fights are nothing but trouble, even dangerous. But despite his warning, Koichi and Pop decide to meet up with the local guy, which the local guy turned out to be Soga. Pop angrily calls out Soga for what he tried to do to them, and Soga left the restaurant no longer wanting to talk anymore. But Koichi notices that Soga actually was serious about the talk. In an alley, we see Akira being attacked by Stendhal. Stendhal tells Akira that he has no conviction. Power wielded without conviction amounts to a crime, and when crime shapes the man underneath, that is what we call a villain. And so the power of his blade will eradicate the crime that is his existence. Stendhal then slices the villain down the middle, telling Akira that this is his judgment. Stendhal, after killing Akira, goes through a bunch of photos of targets that included Akira, and the next target on Stendhal's list is Soga. The episode ends with Hachisuka looking down at Stendhal from the rooftop. Now, this episode covered a total of 2 chapters, them being chapters 8 and chapter 9. This episode was amazing, and we finally get the introduction of a character who is taking vigilantism to the extreme by killing the villains instead of stopping them. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the 5th episode of My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Are you guys enjoying it so far? Let me know everything in the comment section below. With that said, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe to the Kidoki channel with notifications on so that you don't miss any My Hero Academia Vigilantes content and breakdowns, and I'll see you all in the next one.